Welcome back to another episode of the Toole Shed. Ethan Morrison alongside Tyler Gallo, and today we have a very special guest coming on. In the shed, we got Ferron Flavors Jr. Ferron, thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, good. Appreciate you guys having me.
All right, so starting off, you've been around the country, really. You started off at community college, then went to Fairfield, then went to Cal Baptist. Has the process really changed for you going into the portal like multiple times? Like, has it changed at all?
It depends kind of what you mean by the process. Like, different situations, to be specific with, Fairfield, just kind of the distance and being, young and far away from home, just coming out of junior college, it was hard, not to mention, Fairfield's, a really, really high, academic school also. So, coming from, junior college straight into that was a pretty big adjustment. So I just kind of wanted to, get back closer to home. And so I ended up, entering the portal then. Like that caught a lot of people off guard, at Fairfield, because I had a pretty good year there. Then, we ended up having to sit out, obviously because of the transfer rule then. And then, had a good year at Cal Baptist. Kind of, how I was looking at it there, I was like, if I end up going to, a high major and, playing, the same way that I played, at the two previous schools, I'll put myself, in a pretty good position to go make a lot of money, so, I ended up trying to, do that. Things just didn't work out, with the coaching staff and stuff like that. So, luckily the NCAA gave us another year. Got to know Coach Tulle really well. And, just felt like this would be a really great fit for my last year. So, yeah, that's kind of really the basics of it, really.
Yeah. And, with the portal changing so much over the past year, do you like the way the NCAA has kind of like transitioned now to give players an opportunity to move schools now?
Oh yeah. I honestly, I really like it a lot. A lot of people, really older people, they don't kind of really understand it as much, because, there's a thing, with loyalty and, different things like that, but, I look at it like, college coaches, they can, get up and take a new job literally whenever they want to, you know what I mean? And no punishment except they're only going to make probably more money, you know what I mean? So, but us, if we end up leaving, now we have to sit out a year, unless you're, a graduate transfer before, and, now giving the guys, if fit isn't right for them, things change, like when you're in your recruiting process, in high school and, out of junior college and stuff like that, sometimes, what the coaches will tell you won't be exactly what happens. So, in some situations, I think it's really good, because guys are able to, move around and, find somewhere else if, things aren't what they were supposed to be, so.
And, what were some of the deciding factors for you to, commit and have your final season here at Robert Morris?
Like I said, man, just the relationship with Coach Tulle, I feel like he's just a real genuine guy. He's one of those people that, I feel like I can call, like whether it's basketball or, not basketball related, like I feel like I can honestly pick up the phone and, talk to him and he's going to actually genuinely care, you know what I mean, about what I have to say and, what's going on with my personal life or, different things like that, so that's probably the biggest thing. And then just the play style, how we play here. Real spaced out, he lets guys play, but he's real intense, he's not a guy, not a coach that's just going to sit there and, not say anything, you know what I mean? Like if he doesn't like something, he's going to let you know about it and you probably not going to like that. He's going to let you know about it, but, I mean, and that's the same thing, really with all the coaches, he makes sure that all the coaches, have a voice, all the assistant coaches can, get on you and, you better listen, or else, it's consequences for that. But, just the coaching staff, on top of Toole, the assistant coaches, Coach Mike, I built a really good relationship with Coach Mike too. Just being able to talk to him and, his past experience of playing, in the NBA and professionally overseas for so many years. He's kind of, really helped me, and, we've been, in the gym a lot, and, showing me different things and, teach me, what to expect, moving forward, after this year, So I say really, the biggest thing I felt here was just the relationships that I was able to build, in such a short amount of time. At some of the other schools that I was talking to, I was able to build relationships with them too, but when you, like you guys said before, I've been, a couple of different places and stuff, so I can kind of, see through things a little faster than I was able to before, so, I felt, just a real genuineness about, all the coaches here. So, yeah, that's definitely my reason on why.
Mm-hmm. And then after your time with Cal Baptist, you were able to transfer to Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. You were able to play or be around the first overall draft pick in the 2021 NBA draft, Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
What were some of the experiences you had with him there in Oklahoma State?
Man, Cade's a good dude, man. I still talk to him, today. He's gonna really. I mean, I could say he's gonna surprise a lot of people, but I mean, when you're a number one pick, it's kind of like how much of a surprise should it be? You know what I mean? But there's still a lot of doubters out there, surrounding him, and I just feel I'm just excited for him to have a great year. A lot of people don't know just how competitive he is. I say really that's one of his biggest qualities that he has is, just his competitiveness. Like, he doesn't care about, if he has to score 30 or score 10, like he's just trying to win, you know what I mean? And, a couple times last year, that's kind of when it was really obvious, because he was dealing with COVID and stuff like that. So he had missed a few games back in January and February, but he just really was still present, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, he's not playing, so he's gonna be quiet. Like, you still heard him all game, every practice, just same way that you would hear him, outside of that, So I think, man, I mean, yeah, he's gonna have a great year. My pick for rookie of the year for sure.
So when you transferred to Oklahoma State, obviously a much larger school, a bigger conference, did you have to adjust your play style at all, moving from a smaller conference into the Big 12?
No, I wouldn't really say I had to adjust really how I play. I mean, most people, know how I play, and, now, I'm older, so, it's not much big differences that I'm going to make in my game, nowadays, so. Everybody knew, kind of what I was brought in to do, which was, shoot the ball, so, I wasn't able to shoot it as well, as I wanted to, I was dealt with a hand injury on my shooting hand, really for the whole year, couple of foot injuries, different things like that. So, a couple things that kind of held me back, and then also just myself, I kind of, got in my own head a little bit, when I was missing shots that I normally make and, different things like that, stuff that, you go through as a player, but, I was able to really learn from those things. I felt like last year was probably my hardest year in college, like mentally, but, I was able to really, really take that, and really build, mentally on that, and, this year I'm just excited just to get out there and just, be able to play and compete and, just have fun, really enjoy my last year in college, so.
So a majority of this year's roster is made up entirely of guys that, came in from the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Have you had to take on some sort of leadership role with these guys, knowing that, I mean, you haven't been here all that long, but, you're one of the more veteran guys on this team. Have you had to take on a leadership role at all?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they've definitely, leaned on me a lot for, leadership roles and stuff like that. The coaches, they kind of, it was kind of expected, just because of, all my experience that I have, and, playing so many different places and stuff like that. Like, you learn things that, you don't learn unless you go through it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of guys, are able to, learn different things, from playing in big games and stuff like that. But, when you playing big games and you're playing, everywhere. I mean, I've played in Australia, I played in Italy, like I played in, state championships in high school. I played in NCAA tournament, played in Big 12 championship. You know what I mean? So you got a bunch of different games that I played in, you know what I mean, where, now I know, kind of the little things on, what it takes to win, like that's the biggest thing is just, being able to pass those things on to the guys on the team, that some guys, haven't really won, so, coming off the year that, Robert Morris had last year, Coach, the biggest thing was, we got to get back to winning. That's what Coach Tulle does here. So, that's why I came here, because I felt like that was his number one goal, and that's my number one goal. Like, I want to win. Like, I don't care if I go out there next year and score 30 a game or I score 10, 15, whatever. Like, as long as we're winning, that's really, that's really all that matters to me. So, just helping the guys understand that and, seeing things differently, you know what I mean? Because, when you're young, a lot of times, when you're in college, all your friends, it's like, you got to score, you got to, do this, you got to shoot the ball, get in your bag, different things like that, but, at the end of the day, none of that matters if you're losing every game. Like, nobody really cares. You could put up 30 a game if you want to, but if you're losing, like, it doesn't mean as much, you know what I mean? So, just helping guys understand, that, in order to get where we want to get to, we just kind of got to, just embrace, what the coaches are telling us and, just embrace, being a team, and so that's been kind of the biggest thing that we've been really focusing on, as a team is, just building those relationships faster, because we have so many new guys, where I think we only have 3 or 4 guys that are coming back from last year's team. Yeah. So, everybody else is coming from different places. So, just trying to make sure we build these relationships and, like hang out with each other, play video games, go out to eat, different things like that, all the time, so that, we can make up for, lost time that, some schools might have guys, that have been there all 4 years or 3 years or, however long. So,
So you brought this up, a couple questions ago, but last season was pretty tough for you at Oklahoma State. You said the injury issues you were dealing with. How are you working on bouncing back this year? And then, how tough is it or how taxing is it to play while you're struggling during your collegiate career?
Really just working on my basic fundamentals every day. I like to look at myself as kind of like a real, fundamental type of guy, you know what I mean? I do a lot of like the simple stuff that, a lot of people don't like doing. I just shoot a lot of one dribble pull-ups and, floaters and 3 catch shoots off, different things like that. So, I think just really just focusing on, my fundamentals and really just staying in the gym, man. That's been my biggest thing since I got here, is just making sure that, I'm the first one in the gym for practice, staying after practice, watching film, taking care of my body, spending extra time in the weight room, different things like that, to make sure that, when the season comes, I'm ready for it, because, I've been, also, a part of, being in college so long is, your body kind of starts to feel it a little more, you know what I mean? Kind of when you're in college, the preseason during college versus professional is pretty different. In college, it's a lot more, like you said, taxing really on your body. Also because, you're going through, intense, conditioning, versus, when you're at the professional level, a lot of the conditioning is done on your own, so, just taking care of my body, man. And, just making sure that, when the season comes, I'll be, 100% ready to go, so that's been the biggest thing for that. And then what was the other question?
Then, you mentioned the taxing of playing through struggles during your career. Every player goes through them at some point. How hard is it to play through that, or how easy is it to come out of it when you finally do come out of it?
Yeah, during the time, man, it was very tough, I've always, prided myself on, staying positive and, just, working through everything, that I come across. But, last year, it was, sometimes, just being honest, like sometimes I didn't know if I really wanted to play basketball anymore, like where I was, kind of questioning myself, like when you get to that point, I was like, okay, well, shoot, I already got a degree, like, I'm about to have a master's already, so, like, if I want to, I can go get a job, no problem, you know what I mean? But, it's like, kind of had to, come into reality of myself, and know that, all the work that I put in to get to where I'm at, I'm too good of a basketball player to stop now, so, just once the season ended and, I took about a month off from basketball, just getting my mind right, spending time with my family, letting that positivity around them, rub back off on me, because, when you're away from, all your family, your girlfriend and everything, your mind, it kind of just wanders a lot, when you're by yourself, so just being able to be, around positivity and, just love, all that stuff it just helped me a lot, so, now coming out of it, looking back on it, I'm able to take different things that happened last year and build off of those things, make sure that, okay, if I'm missing shots this game, then I know that leading up to that next game, I got to do this differently. I got to make sure I'm okay, take a break mentally from basketball when I leave the gym. You know what I mean? Different things like that. And I think that's a big thing that's helped me, this year kind of especially is, having my girlfriend with me. Really, I mean, it's kind of made it, really, really easy on me mentally, because, like I said, I'm older, so, seeing different guys, that I've grew up with and stuff like that, playing the NBA and, different things like that. So, now it's like, okay, well, I'm still in college, so, I still have to embrace that. But at the same time, I have to, begin to, look at things a little differently. You know what I mean? Start to, look forward to, investing in, just life in general. You know what I mean? So, just kind of just that really, man, just being positive and, just enjoying life, you know what I mean? Like I have a dog now, you know what I mean? I'm able to play with my dog when I leave practice, different things like that, is good, for basketball players especially. I mean, really all college athletes, athletes in general, you have to give your mind a break, you know what I mean? Like I heard Giannis, he had said in one of his interviews, he said once I leave the gym, like I don't think about basketball. Like he said he doesn't even watch like other NBA games, like nothing, you know what I mean? But when you look at it, he's back-to-back MVP, it kind of, it makes sense. Like, when you leave away from what you do with so much passion, you have to give it a break, you know what I mean? You can't just 24 hours consume yourself with that, you know what I mean? Yeah. So.
And then, one thing last year, even with the struggles, Oklahoma State had a pretty good year and made it to the NCAA tournament. First time you've been in the tournament in your career. Mm-hmm. First off, playing in a bubble must have been interesting. Mm-hmm. So can you go over that experience? And then secondly, to realize a lifelong dream of playing in the tournament finally,
mm-hmm.
How did that feel?
Man, playing in the tournament last year, since it was my first time being there, I didn't know, kind of what it was like before, but I'm pretty sure that, you could, once you're not playing or practicing, there was other things to do. Like, if we wasn't, out there in, I believe, where was that, Indianapolis? There was like a big, complex, right? So there was 4 major hotels in the area. We stayed in one that was directly connected to, this big convention center they have out there. So they had a bunch of, probably, no exaggeration, man, probably 30 practice courts in there. So all the men's and women's teams will all practice in this same convention center at different times, obviously. But at the beginning, when it's first round, 64, there's people everywhere, you know what I mean? So you get your practice time. Everybody only gets in I want to say it was an hour and a half of practice time, and then later in the day, I think towards night, you get 30 minutes to work out, get up shots or differently, voluntarily, obviously, but different things like that. So I just thought, once we're not in practice or we're not playing, we have to just be in our room, and we had COVID test every morning. First thing before we can even eat breakfast, we're COVID testing. Then gotta wait for our results in our room. Then we get to come down to eat breakfast. Then gotta go back up to our room. sit there till practice, come back, go to practice, eat lunch. Now you sitting in your room again till hopefully you get to go to the gym later. You know what I mean? Different things like that. It was crazy, man. I mean, it was boring, honestly. I mean, but like the experience of the basketball side of it was, unforgettable, because you're playing in, different gyms. Like we played at Butler's gym, being such a historic gym. It was crazy. Even practicing there one time before the game, just kind of just the experience of really just everything, being, getting all your, memorabilia, your name tags, different things like that I'm going to keep forever, let, kids see it one day, grandkids, whatever, but that's stuff that, a lot of people that play basketball just wish that they could even experience, you know what I mean? So, to say that I played in and I've scored a basket, and, different things like that is, although it wasn't, I didn't play as much as I wanted to, it was an experience that, I'll still cherish, forever, so.
Yeah, definitely very memorable experience in your life.
Yeah.
So, and then moving on to this season, you've been around the guys for a couple of months now. Is there a player on the team besides you that you think is going to have, a big season that maybe people aren't really talking about, or a guy that's flying under the radar a little bit?
I'll give you two that I could think of right now. Khalil is going to have a really, really good year. I can see him averaging a double-double, honestly. And Rondo. I think Rondo is going to have a really big year. Just being able to kind of play more freely, kind of how Coach Tulle lets us play. I feel like he'll be able to, surprise a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people really know how good he is, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I could say a couple more guys, man. I think Rasheem, going to have a big year. Really, the thing about Roz, he's just, like, defensively, he makes it real tough on people, you know what I mean? So, he's able to kind of help that turn him into his transition game, which is, he's one of the best transition players I've ever played with. Like, you get him in transition, it's almost guaranteed to be a layup, you know what I mean? So strong and physical, you know what I mean? And Mike Green, I see Mike having a big year also. Shoot, man, I can keep going on. Cam's gonna have a good year. Cam's gonna shoot the ball real well this year. I can see it. Man,
excitement's definitely.
Yeah, man. It really is. Justin's gonna have a big year. Man, yeah. I could say good things about everybody. Enoch's gonna have a good year. You know what I mean? Matt. I feel like we got a lot of positivity going around right now. It's gonna be competitive, man. A lot of guys gonna be fighting for minutes, and that's the type of program that you want to have. You know what I mean? You don't want it to be okay. These 5 or 6 guys is playing for sure, and we're in September. You want to. Okay, if it's 7, 8 guys, usually, by the time tournament time comes, that's usually how many play. You want to be figuring that out still in like February, you know what I mean? Like those are the best teams where you can, okay, well I can play 9 or 8 or 10, you know what I mean? Like versus, I've been on teams where, it's like, okay, you're still doing conditioning before you even start official practices and everybody already knows who's gonna play, you know what I mean? Like that's not really the type of teams that win championships, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, it's gonna be a great year for a lot of guys on the team for sure.
Yeah, so another thing, switching gears here, name, image, and likeness, that became a thing this year. Mm-hmm. So I know you've been doing stuff. You want to explain a little bit what you've been doing? Oh man,
stuff keeps popping up, man. I feel so blessed, really because I never really seen myself as like kind of like a big what's the word, like social, like image, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't consider myself to have the biggest of following. I'm like right under like 2,000 on Instagram, but I know guys that got 300,000, 400,000 followers and stuff. I was like, man, those guys, I would love to be them right now, cause man, those type of endorsements. But man, I've got my own clothing line now. 31 Flavors. Those links, yeah, you guys can get those in the bio. Also, what else have I did? Man, I feel like I'm missing out on some things. I got just figured out another endorsement with Perfect Lemon. It's like a lemon water company. Lemon Perfect, sorry. Yeah. Just figured out something with them. Man, I'm forgetting some. I know I am, but you know those ones are kind of the main ones that I could think of off the top of my head. But a couple more people have reached out to me, but you know at the same time, you know I'm kind of in that mode where I'm really focused on basketball. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to balance everything. You know what I mean? Where it's like yeah, I want to do this and do that, but my number one priority right now is to figure out a way to make sure that we're winning games next year. Like, make sure that I'm able to, put the ball in the basket at a high level next year. Like, that's kind of the things that are on my mind right now. So, like the name, image, and likeness is like great. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I think it should have been happening a long time ago. But, just right now, for me personally, I knew I wanted to, get some gear, that my, fans and, family and friends could have. That, when they come to the games and different things like that. But, other than that, I was like, all the other stuff, I mean, it'll come, eventually, you know what I mean? Like, it'll come when it's supposed to come, you know what I mean? So, like I, obviously reached out to like Baskin & Robbins, you know what I mean? Like the, like the typical, where I should be reaching out to. I haven't heard back from them, but I was like, I tell my parents, they're like, why they haven't, reached back out to you? Like, it only makes sense. I'm like, they'll reach out when season comes, when I'm scoring the ball. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's when it really matters. You know what I mean? Like nobody cares if you're not, anybody can have a bunch of endorsements, but if you're not producing, like, they looking at it like that's a bad investment. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of what I'm focused on, is just making sure that, my game is ready, and ready to go when my name's called. So.
Who gave you that nickname, 31 Flavors? How did that all come about?
Man, so actually, I used to only wear like 3. I wore 3 all the high school. I wore what I wear in junior college. Junior college, I wore 3. Fairfield, I wore 23. And then when I went to California, the coach he was like, he said, he was like, what number do you want? And I was like, I'll take 3, you know what I mean? Because that's just kind of what I usually wore. He said, what about if you did 31? And I was like, oh yeah, that actually would work. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened, man. Shout out to Coach Tulle over at California Baptist, great dude. Yeah, so that was kind of how that came about, really. So.
Yeah. So I mean, you expressed your excitement about the players on the team. Is there a game this year that you're most excited about playing in? I mean, we've heard a couple announced so far. They haven't announced the full schedule yet. Is there any games this season that you're really excited for?
Man, all of them. I mean, really, I just can't wait to play every game. Like, I mean, obviously, the big ones. First game of the season is always, the most hyped one, in your mind, really, because, that's when your first appearance. So that's UCF, and then, right after that, I believe we go to Kentucky, play at Kentucky. That's always, somewhere fun to play.
Yeah.
Never played there, and, always wanted to, so that'd be exciting, to play there. And then really everybody that I've seen on our schedule, like, I can't wait. Like, I'm excited, just fired up, ready to, like, man, I wish season start tomorrow. I really do. But, just gotta keep preparing, But, yeah, I say really those 2 are the main ones that I could think of just off the top of my head. I haven't seen I don't think our conference schedule has came out yet, so I don't know who we play in conference. But, obviously all of them. Can't wait to see them, especially, really, because we'll see them twice this year, everybody 2 times. So, yeah.
And we saw you handing out Chick-fil-A I think last week.
Oh yeah.
And how's it been like meeting people and being active around campus, seeing new faces, all of that?
Yeah, it's been good, man. You know, I just excited, ready to just continue to, just embrace RMU. You know, RMU's already been, so good to me, just over this past summer. Coaching staff, all teammates to, I just feel really like, like a sense of like love and appreciation here that, you don't feel everywhere that you go, so, I'm just ready to, go out there and give the school my best, just excited to be here, excited to, have the support of the fans, the president. I met the president already, great dude. The AD, good guy. You know what I mean? Just everybody just excited and, ready to, get back on the right track, really, so.
Is there anything, you'd want to tell the fans or, everybody around campus about the team or about yourself that maybe they wouldn't know, or something that could be excited for coming up this season?
Oh man, I just hope that you guys just come out and support us. I believe we'll be able to get back to. I don't think they're putting a limit on people coming to the game. So, every home game, man, let's sell out the crowd. We're gonna put on a show for you guys. That's a promise. So, just come out and support us, and we just appreciate anything that we can do to help you guys. Just let us know, anything. I mean, we want you guys to know that, we're playing for, RMU, for our school, you know what I mean? And that goes for the student body, the staff, the janitors, anybody, we just want you guys to know that, you're appreciated, and, we're just excited to play for you guys this year, so.
Well, Ferron, I want to thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Best of luck this season.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.